What's up, guys? It's Paul, the MMA Shark, and we have a full weekend of MMA. I'm just checking in really quick. I'm out of my comfort zone right here. I don't have the banner set up or anything, but I wanted to pass along, hopefully, some free money. Tonight, you got a little card in LFA 144, airing live on UFC Fight Pass at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to give you my whole card. Not something I've ever done on here. Nobody really pays me to be an LFA handicapper. My subscribers are there for UFC, Bellator, the main stuff. I got a couple small plays here on LFA. A little bit of plays to throw out prior to tomorrow's UFC card. Grasso versus Araujo. I'm excited for that card. I'm really mad that Askarov just didn't even try to make weight, and that fight's off versus Brandon Royval. I was actually taking Brandon Royval as a 4-unit play tomorrow at plus 200. And I liked him by decision at plus 600. So, kind of tip of the iceberg. That one sucks losing that. I'm going to give a real quick couple-minute breakdown of where I'm at with LFA 144 tonight. What sets this LFA card apart from other ones, or it's not all chalky fights. It's not all juice fights. It's some really well-matched fights. And I think there's a lot of money to be made on it. I don't go big on LFA. My max LFA play is like 3 units. And even that has to be a huge lean because it is LFA. So with that said, we have a 6-fight main card. Leading off the main card is Jacoby Jones versus Christian Turner. Jacoby Jones is the minus 125 favorite right now. Christian Turner, undefeated, 3-0, is the plus 105 dog in this fight. Many people think Christian Turner wins this fight. He is 74% on Tapology. I disagree. I'm going with the experience in this fight of Jacoby Jones, minus 125, and we're going to hit him for 1 unit. He has fought much tougher competition. Christian Turner, being 3-0, has never even beaten a pro with a win, so I think it's a big wake-up call. Turner will absolutely have the reach advantage in this fight. 75-inch reach for him on Jacoby Jones. We've got a 70-inch reach advantage. Turner is 6 foot tall. Jacoby Jones is 5'9". One thing we've seen in MMA lately is the taller fighter is having a very hard time taking down the shorter fighter. So for that reason and more, I am going with Jacoby Jones in the first fight on the main card. Just 1 unit. He's minus 125. We'd win like 0.85 of a unit on it if he cashes. And if he doesn't, we're still okay. Fight 2 on the main card tonight on LFA 144 is Christian Natividad versus Israel Galvan. Not much footage out on either fighter in this fight. Christian Natividad is 4-0. He's a big favorite out of Arizona Combat Sports. Looking at his 4 wins, he beat a 1-2 in Luis Aguirre, a 1-1 in Evan Woosley, who's actually not a bad fighter. He beat a debut, Jose Holguin, and he beat a 1-1 Michael Aquila. All 4 wins have come in the LFA. So LFA definitely sees a prospect here in him. He's taking on Israel Galvan. Israel Galvan is not that bad. He's a freestyle fighter. He's out of Dallas, Texas. Steadfast fitness and performance. It's been a pretty solid gym lately. He is coming off 2 ref stoppage wins from strikes, 1 in the first round, 1 in the second. He has fought a higher level of competition than Christian Natividad. I don't play for percentage. I play for profit. It's dog or pass here for me. I think a half unit on Israel Galvan would be the play at plus 280 to win 1.4 units. I'm just not that sold on Christian Natividad, especially being minus 350 in that fight. He hasn't been battle tested enough. So it's a dog or pass situation for me there. Looking on to fight 3 on the main card, we have Jared Revel versus Renato Valente. This is actually a really good fight. On paper and digging into it. Jared Revel opened at plus 160. He's now plus 165. So we have some money coming in on Renato Volante. Renato Volante has won only 2 of his last 5. As to a Revel, who is now 38 years old, did lose his last fight to Josh Silva, who is actually very good. Josh just made a run in the PFL heavyweight tournament. So he's absolutely, middleweight. These guys fight at 185. Prior to that, he had a lot of big wins. He beat Sergio Moraes in 2020, Colin Hart, George Davis. So I think Jared Revel is a live dog in this fight. Renato Volante, coming off the one loss. He does train in Oklahoma, originally from Brazil. He lost a decision to Josh Freemed, who is a fair fighter at best. Prior to that, he won a split decision over 7-0. It was an impressive win on LFA 110. And prior to that, he lost to 5-1 Mark Martin by decision. Since that, Mark Martin has gone to 7-2. Another one very close to call. It's a small player pass. I'm going with Jared Revel at plus 165 for a 1-unit risk on the fight 3 of the main card. Fight 4 of the main card is definitely a tricky one. The odds have swayed way from where they opened. Juan Puerta is semi a UFC vet. He's one of 2 fighters in history that is 2-0 on Dana White's Contender Series and didn't get signed to a contract. He won a split decision in 2021. And after the fight, if you remember the guy going, man, he was tough. Dana White said, well, no shit, he was tough. You're here on UFC Contender Series. It's going to be tough. And he basically kind of talked himself out of a contract. He then took a year off and just took on a 10-3 fighter in Iago Ribeiro and somehow managed to lose that fight. Based on that fight, he opened at a minus 145 favorite in this fight. He's taken on Yuma Horiguchi. Yuma is definitely younger than him. He's 25 years old. He is fighting out of Team Ayama and Tang Tang Fight Club. He has been subpar at best. He had an impressive LFA win over Mark Climaco, and that happened last November. Since that, Road to the UFC he had a fight on where he was controlled the whole fight. I think that's something Juan Puerta can do to him if he doesn't get knocked out. Juan Puerta is still tough, even though he's coming off a crap win. And the main reason I like Juan Puerta in this fight is because of the value. He is up to plus 155. I'm going to go pretty aggressive on it and risk 2 units on Juan Puerta at plus 155, thinking that his last loss was just somewhat fluky. 35 years old. He's, slowing down in his career, but I think he just has enough tools and experience that from what I've seen on tape from Yuma Horiguchi, he's just not going to be ready for Juan Puerta. There's nothing to justify Yuma being minus 185. I cannot pass on Juan Puerta in this spot at 155. I'm going to lay 2 units on him to hopefully win 3.1 units on it. Big weekend of MMA coming up. Grasso versus Araujo tomorrow. Of course, next weekend is the big one. The one, the only, UFC 280. We are going to be ready for it. Like my channel, subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave a comment, tell me what you think of my content. I have thick skin. Either way, leave me a comment. www.themmashark.com. Get yourself a subscription. I'm offering 25% off your first month, making it $80. It's in-depth coverage. Texting. I text all the plays out. There's nothing more convenient. I'm transparent. There's nothing you're not going to like about it, especially if you like results. Sitting at plus 393 units so far this year. If you're a $10 bettor, you're up a fortune. So, co-main event, we have Dixon City, Scranton's own Daiqwon Buckley, who made his MMA debut in my cage. He is tough. He was a killer football player. He lost his first amateur fight by split decision to Lance Moore for PA Cage Fight back when I was promoting that. He came back and beat our heavyweight champion, Austin Sawyer, by key lock. Since that, he's gone on a huge run. He made a move down to Florida, fighting out of Sanford MMA. He's 3-0 right now, 1 being on PFL, 1 win on LFA and 1 on Titan. So he's been promotion hopping. 2 fights since his LFA debut. He's very big heavyweight, and he's got a great gas tank. He's got great cardio. He throws really good power, but I don't see him as a threat here to knock out Jordan Heiderman. I think Jordan Heiderman is by far Daiqwon Buckley's hardest test to date. And a lot of money is coming in on Buckley. Buckley was plus 170 earlier this week. Now he's plus 115. Jordan Heiderman just made a run on the Ultimate Fighter Season 30. He made it to the semifinals. He lost to Zach Pauga. He got knocked out in the second round. So a fighter coming off a knockout is always a threat. But all of his fights have been finishes other than 1 split decision win he had in 2020. I don't put out plays with my heart. I love Daiqwon Buckley. He's a good friend of mine. He fought amateur for us. Huge ticket seller, huge popularity in my area, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Went to Baltimore. He was a cop down there for a while, and then he made the move to Fortis. He's probably realistically 1 or 2 fights from at least Contender Series or to the UFC. They desperately need heavyweights. But my mind is saying that Jordan Heiderman gets this fight done at minus 140. I'm laying 3 units on him. So I think he actually gets the finish in this fight. Takes us to the main event. Diego Silva, who again missed weight, which is very uncharacteristic for any Fusion XL fighter. He's 15-7. He's plus 150 in this fight. Taking on Gafurov. Gafurov is very tough. He's very solid. He's 17-4. He is not built like a bantamweight by any means. He looks a lot bigger. He's stronger. This is for the vacant LFA bantamweight championship fight. It's a 5-round fight. I don't see Silva being any threat to finish Gafurov early in this fight, and I almost wonder how his cardio is going to be, having missing weight again. It's almost amazing that he keeps missing weight, but he's 5'6", he's 29 years old. It's not like he's gigantic for the 135 class. Gafurov is 5'7", and he's got a 68-inch reach to Diego Silva's 72-inch reach. So Diego Silva definitely has a reach advantage in this fight. Gafurov has won 3 of his last 5 fights. The 2 losses come into very quality competition. He lost on Dana White's Contender Series by split to Chad Anheliger, which I thought he won that fight. And he lost a decision to John Lineker. John Lineker throws bombs. That fight happened 2 years ago. If anyone remembers John Lineker in the UFC, if he hits you, you're going to sleep. And neither were able to finish him. Looking at his 2 other losses, they were by decision. So 4 losses, yes, all 4 by decision. I see no path to victory here for Diego Silva. He's not going to be able to knock him out. He's not going to be able to survive with a gas tank after missing weight. Gafurov wins the main event at minus 180. I'm going to lay 2 units on him. So that's it. www.themmashark.com. I just released my full plays. I am a handicapper releasing my full plays. I'm not a fan. I'm not an analyst. I'm a legitimate handicapper. Just tossed out 6 plays for tonight. I don't play for percentage. When I put out a play on Galvan, who's plus 280, as a half a unit, that's a little tickle. It's a little tickle bet where I see value. So again, LFA tonight, I'm going with Juan Puerta at plus 155, Israel Galvan at plus 280, Jacoby Jones at minus 125, Jared Revel at plus 165, Jordan Heiderman at minus 140, and Gafurov at minus 180. That's 6 plays. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if I should even be on here throwing out free plays. Are you interested in my plays? www.themmashark.com. Don't forget to hit that like button, whatever corner it's in, one of these corners. Subscribe, drop me a comment. LFA 144 tonight, UFC Fight Night Vegas 62, Grasso vs. Araujo tomorrow. Let's make some money this weekend. The MMA Shark.